Hi everyone, N.A.T here, and today I will show you how to use equalization, why and when to use it to make it work in your mix. Rule number 1, cleaning up frequencies. All there is to equalization really is turning down frequencies in order to make other frequencies more clear. Let's take this sound for example. If we use a bell curve like this and scoop it around, you will hear that by turning down these frequencies, we are making the nearest frequencies more clear. By placing this bell here, I can make these sub-frequencies more clear, because these frequencies are disturbing and mudding up the sound. Too much and you make the sound empty. Too little and you will have it sound muddy. This sounds good. We can use the same principle to make drums more punchy, like on this kick, for example. Before, after. You can hear how these frequencies disturb the tail, the sub of the kick. So now the kick sounds more clear and punches better. You can also use the same principle in order to make sounds in the mix more clear in relation to each other, or in order to make the response, the frequency response of your mix more balanced. For example, with these two sounds in this mix, we have a bass and this other synthesizer. Now this synth, as you can see, is playing in a low range, where also the bass is playing. And if we do this, if we turn down these frequencies here, the bass becomes more clear. Let's listen in the mix. Before and after. Rule number 2, cleaning up resonances. It's the same principle, turning down frequencies that make the rest of the sound or the mix less clear. For example, this bass sound has this single resonant frequencies that I turned down. I will make it more apparent for you. It's this kind of a whistle. Ooh, ooh. I turn it down and now the bass sounds much more clear. Let's listen in the mix before equalization. And after equalization. Another example on the sound. I artificially created a resonance here. Sometimes these resonances sound like whistles, like this. And you just turn them down. But this was an example. This didn't have any resonance. I just created one for this example. Rule number 3, filtering, using high pass and low pass filters. Let's take this track for example. There are many elements and we can high pass elements that are not bass to make the bass even more clear. For example, we have the bass here. And these synths here. As you can see, I high passed the synths group here in order to make sure that we don't have any low frequencies interfering with the bass. You can hear how moving this filter around makes the bass so much clearer in the mix. And you can place it to taste where you think it fits best. This is also very useful with drums. Let's solo the drums. In particular, this drum rack. If we go to the hats, which sound like this, we can use a high pass here as well. And as you can see, we only have frequencies up here. So using a high pass can remove some of those lower frequencies that can clash with the other sounds. By cleaning this up like this, you make every sound more punchy. Let's listen. Before and after. And you place it to taste again. That's it. These were the main 3 rules. Also, your listening environment is very important. That's why I built these raw cool acoustic panels that attenuate reflections, but also especially that's why I use this calibration software. This is SonarWorks Sound ID reference. What this does is it measures the frequency response of your room and your speakers, and then applies calibration, which is a curve that cancels out all these weird responses that I have in my room, like this. To explain better what a frequency response is, imagine listening through your mix, but listening it through an equalization that has crazy curves like this. And this is usually what happens in your room. Okay, your room might have all these weird curves and make your mix sound like this. Before, clean mix. And in your room, instead, it sounds like this. And this makes it very hard to hear which frequencies need to be turned down. I really suggest getting the calibration software Sound ID, even though it's a little buggy. And also calibration will take some time and you will need this microphone given from SonarWorks, but to me it was worth it. And you also need to understand what a balanced mix sounds like, and reference tracks can help you in that. Also, phase shift is important. I will explain it better in another video. But for this one, that's it. If you have any questions, write a comment, let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching and see you next time.